Game News USA here, back today with another video. And today we're going to look over the review scores for Directive 8020. Now, this is a PlayStation 5 game. Well, it is on PlayStation 5. That's where I'm going to be playing it out on stream, so keep an eye out for that. But this game is not getting the best of reviews. I'm still getting it anyway. It's a 72 overall on Metacritic. There's 45 reviews, 24 positive, 21 mixed. Let's just jump right in there and figure out what's going on with what the critics say about this game. But first, please remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Yeah, I appreciate it a lot. Let's jump right into it. So, there are no perfect scores here. But the high score here is a 95 from But Why Though, saying Directive 8020 is a love letter to the space horror that looks beyond just going bump in the night. The distrust sown across the small team, the dialogue choices, and the interactions all craft a game that feels like it belongs on the shelf alongside titles like Dead Space, Sunshine, Event Horizon, and even The Thing. And that's exciting to me, guys. Like, unlike Mixtape lately, which came out and sounds like they have a really crappy story, this game looks good. And this game is like a story-based game, but it's a horror game. It's a choice game. Think of like the Dark Pictures anthology. You know, Supermassive's making this game. I think it's a lot of people from like Until Dawn and Dark Pictures anthology and those kind of people, those kind of games were involved in making this. So, again, very excited to play this game. Can't wait. We have a 90 from the Sixth Axis, saying Directive 8020 is by far the best Dark Pictures game, embracing more stealth gameplay, making the branching story feel seamless, and setting a new bar for the genre. I'm excited, man. We got an 85 from Gaming Boulevard, saying Directive 8020 is a major step forward for the Dark Pictures anthology. The story is engaging, the production values are excellent, and the added gameplay mechanics make this the most interactive entry in the series so far. The stealth sections can become a bit repetitive, but they never get in the way of what is still a tense and highly entertaining sci-fi horror survival adventure. Then, if you're looking for other kind of scores here, Doobie-doobie-doo. Doobie-doobie-doo. Still scrolling. Spazio Games gave it an 80, saying Directive 8020 is the game Supermassive fans have been waiting for since Until Dawn redefined what this format could achieve. The Casa Siopa Works has a setting precisely because it holds together elements that usually cancel each other out. Pristine aesthetics and visceral body horror. Late 90s sci-fi optimism and deep cosmic dread. Television quality acting and the sudden brutality of a game that does not warn you before it hurts you. Spazio, why only an 80? This sounds like a 10 out of 10. The way you just described this game. This game sounds freaking great. Honestly. Now, I'll be honest, I haven't finished any of the Dark Pictures games. I've gotten close to finishing some of them. I'm usually not that great at scary games. Love scary movies. Scary games, I'll be honest, they get to me sometimes. But, we can power through this together on stream. I'll have, hopefully my buddy Eli, my buddy Scooter will be on chat with me during the game. I mean, that might be the only way I make it through. Hobby Consolist with a 76, saying, while the developers don't make his mind about making a classic dark pictures game or something completely new. This game offers some interesting ideas in a classic sci-fi horror setting. Some twists in the story are a little bit too risky, but it's worth the journey. I also heard from the IGN review that, much like Until Dawn, characters can get killed off and you can lose characters through the game, maybe even ending up with nobody. I like that kind of stuff, honestly. And the Games Machine with a 75 says a new chapter in the Dark Pictures series attempts to remain anchored to its roots while simultaneously seeking to distance itself by offering something new. Mission accomplished? Not exactly. Although it's enjoyable and well-crafted experience, the balance between the gameplay and cinematic elements once again tips excessively in favor of the latter, the cinematic elements. And the freedom granted to the player seems even more limited than in previous installments. A game structure that is a bit too fragmented and permissive diminishes the sense of tension and immersion in the story, a narrative that in turn leaves itself open to criticism due to heavy inspiration drawn from certain classics of the sci-fi horror genre. Okay, these are legitimate criticisms here. I can understand how people might have came to this solution or came to this conclusion by reviewing the game. So I'm not going to totally blast the Games Machine here. Maybe that's how I'll end up feeling about the game after I play it. Maybe it is too cinematic and not enough gameplay to it. That's possible. It's very possible. Alright, we're going to the mixed reviews now. Games.ch with a 74 says Directive 8020 delivers an entertaining sci-fi horror with strong atmosphere, improved gameplay flow, and impressive presentation. However, its predictable story, simplistic mechanics, and weak German voice acting prevents Supermassive Games from reaching the heights of its best interactive horror experiences. Again, if that German accented voice acting is bad, that's going to tank the game. I don't think it is, though. The little bit I've heard, I think it was fine. I think it was okay. We have a 70 here from gameblog.fr saying Directive 8020 may not be the revolution some were hoping for, but it stands out as an interesting evolution of the Dark Pictures formula. With this new title, Supermassive Games tries new things and experiments, offering us a narratively gripping adventure, though its gameplay unfortunately suffers from an approach that's far too formulaic. It's still a solid popcorn game, however, and will certainly appeal to fans of the genre and those who enjoy slightly goofy horror experiences. And I also hear the game is about 8 episodes, about 10 hours. And again, we love Dispatch. We paid for Dispatch, and we loved Dispatch, and we played it on the channel. How much is Directive 8020? Let me go check. All right, it's $80. It's $50. So that's not bad at all. That's what Star Fox is going to be priced at digitally. I'm down for that. I'm down for a good $50 game. I'm glad it's not a full 70. I think it'll be well worth it. All right, but we do have reviews that are even lower than that, sadly. Destructoid with a 65 says, I really wanted to love this game, and there are elements about Directive 8020 that I thoroughly adored. But it could have been there with the greats, sitting alongside House of Ashes for the best dark picture. Sadly, Directive 8020 fails from a narrative and gameplay standpoint, and while it does redeem itself from an overbearing, saggy middle, it doesn't do enough for me to ignore its glaring flaws. If you don't mind the repetitive gameplay that flatlines any built momentum and tension, then Directive 8020 may hit you like Until Dawn back in 2015. It had huge potential, but it may have needed more time in cryosleep. All legitimate criticisms, possibly. I'll say this. House of Ashes was good. And Until Dawn, a decade ago, is Chef's Kiss. Played that all in one night. Rented it from a Redbox, actually. Love that game. So, I mean, I think it'll be a lot like those anyway, so it doesn't matter. Stevier with a 60 says, I played single player exclusively, but that said, I struggle to see how groups will find this as enjoyable as other Dark Pictures titles. There are less big, dangerous choices to be made, and far more opportunities to die because you're not good at stealth and management or scanning and puzzles at the same time. Fans of Supermassive will find enough here to justify a purchase, though. I'm in that camp myself and finish things up hoping for a tighter experience. So again, somebody else that just says, hey, this isn't quite up to snuff or as good as other Dark Pictures games. I love the setting personally. The space setting totally won me over from the jump. And then we have a 50 from Game Informer saying, I was too busy questioning character decisions, theirs, not mine, rolling my eyes and grappling with an overwhelming feeling of deja vu to ever enjoyably engage in Directive 8020. This is by far the most negative review we've seen so far. Basically, this reviewer just sounds really upset at the companion choices that are done in the game. Not the choices you make, but the choices your partners make that the story is setting up for you. Well, I'll have to watch out for that when I play it. And that's the low score, really. 50's the low, so there's no negative reviews here, which is shocking. When you have this many mixed, you'd figure any of these might trickle down to a negative, and it didn't. It's still holding it a 72, which isn't the greatest. You're hoping for at least an 80 or higher on Metacritic. There's a lot of mixed here. A lot more mixed than I would be comfortable with normally. That being said, it's $50, not $70. I'm buying it. I'm going to play it. Hopefully y'all support it on stream or in the playback. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. I appreciate you, and I'll see y'all later. This is RJ signing out. Have a good one.